This is Gospel Music Today. We are at the National Quartet Convention, and sitting next to me is Barbara Roach of Jubilee Music. And Barbara, we want to welcome you to Gospel Music Today.
Well, I'm just very thrilled to be here and talk with you. It's just great.
Now, we want to ask you about Jubilee Music artists, but first, you have quite a background in Southern gospel music.
Now you're going to get into my age. Yes, I do have a background in Southern gospel music. I'd be picking cotton or hoeing the grass out of it. I can't talk without my hands. Hoeing the grass out of it and be pretending that I would be singing in the Spear family or just anybody like that. But we used to live out by a highway, and every now and then we could see one of the buses go by, and we'd just get so excited. And one night I was singing in Union City, Tennessee, where I'm from, West Tennessee, that area, and with a group, one of the local groups. And as I walked off stage, this big tall man met me backstage, and it was Urias Lefevre. And he said, "How would you like to sing with the Lefevres?" And I said, "Excuse me, I don't think I heard what you said." And so he repeated it, "How would you like to sing with the Lefevres?" And I just stood there in awe, and I didn't even think anything about it. And I said, "Yes!" And so before long, we were out on their bus. It was the first time I'd ever been on a big quartet bus. And within 30 minutes of time, we'd made plans for me to fly to Atlanta. And he put a $100 bill in my hand. I doubt I'd ever had a $100 bill. And he put a $100 bill in my hand. And I got a reservation from the airplane for the plane and flew to Atlanta on Wednesday. This was on Saturday. I flew to Atlanta on Wednesday, and they had another girl singing with them. She and her husband, Ron and Barbara Daly, and she was let go. And Ron stayed on, and I took her place. And I'm the original "I've Come Too Far to Look Back" girl. You know the song the Hoppers did a few years ago? Uncle Alf Lefevre and I did that song. That was a standing ovation every night when we did that. And we just had a showcase the other day I did with my artist. And Mike Lefevre came over and sang that with my daughter and me. And I was with the Lefevres for a while. Then I joined the Blackwood Singers, R.W. Blackwood Jr. and Donna. And they're from neighbors close to Oklahoma. Donna's from Houston. And so they were living in Nashville then, and they were younger, and the Lefevres were older, so I wanted to be in a younger group, so I went with the Blackwood Singers for a couple of years. And then I've done studio work, background singing, and been a pastor's wife, and then an evangelist, and done a lot of piano teaching and vocal coaching, and somehow or another in the last couple of years I've ended up in the business end of this. And I still sing, I still travel and sing, I still record, and my daughter and I are working on a new project right now.
Oh, great. Now, I want to ask you about the business, and I want to ask you about the recording, but I have to go back for a minute.
You're going to.
You went from the farm to on the bus with the Lefevres.
Yeah.
And how much? Now, they must have been traveling a lot back then.
Oh, yes.
With no hesitation, you were just ready to go.
I was ready. This was what I had been praying for and dreaming of all my life. So I took off. And I lived with Urias and Eva May, and I lived in the green room. They had a beautiful home, and they took me in rent-free because what? We were on the road for 3 or 4 weeks at a time, night after night after night after night after night. And it's really hard these days to see those bookings like they were back then. We would go out for 21 days, 30 days, and we might have one day off while we were on the road. And it was fun. But what I'm doing now is something that I really didn't go searching for. It just kind of fell in my lap. And then as I prayed about it and started doing it, it started out as a booking agency. So that's why the sign says Booking the Blessed, but it's totally changed. I do have a couple of agents that work for me, and we do some booking. But what I do personally is rewarding to me, because I didn't know a few years ago when we were pastoring and listening to the radio, I didn't know there was such a thing as a gospel radio promoter that had music groups that got on the phone and called Southern gospel stations and the compilations that you put out. and you call and you ask those people to play these people. And you know, most of the radio stations get, I would say they safely get about 200 CDs a month. I put out 4 a year right now, and I'm very, very careful with who I sign. And I need a pastoral reference. I want people that I know that are living for the Lord and are singing. And it's pretty exciting because since I started, I've had somebody in the charts, except for 1 month. And right now I have Blue Ridge with a song that I wrote 2 years ago, One Nation. I thought 2 years ago, my husband was preaching on solid gospel and doing a series on Revelation. And he preached a message. He'd always put those CDs in and have me listen to them, and then I'm supposed to critique my husband. I always tell him it's good. But I listened to this and I grabbed a napkin and I started writing this, one nation under God. And he gave me the whole song just real quick. And I got home and I put it in the computer. And I didn't do anything with it at the time. For some reason I felt like I didn't need to. Then my computer crashed and I lost the song. And I knew I had to rewrite that song. And I started trying to, and for some reason I just couldn't do it. I've been over there writing a song tonight. And so I thought, I just can't do this. And I called Tracy Dart, that we're friends, and I do some work for them. And I said, Tracy, I need you to help me write this song, and maybe we could write another one. And so last January 20th, I went to Tracy and Sharon's house, and we wrote One Nation. And so Blue Ridge, we moved, the Lord put us in Franklin, North Carolina. We were offered a church of 500, and it didn't feel right. It wasn't God's will. And we went to Franklin, North Carolina to a restart. It had been closed. Started with 11 people. We're now running close to 30. And my business is helping support us. And I met Blue Ridge. They live in Franklin, North Carolina. And I went over to their church and I played them this arrangement and sang them the song for them, and they recorded it. And usually for a song to chart, unless you're a big name already, and I want to help people that are wanting to do this. So it's unusual for a song to come in so quick, and in 3 weeks promotion it came in at number 72. Then it came to number 59, and I could just tell you it's going higher.
Oh, that's great. That's excellent. We do have to keep in mind that what we hear in these Southern gospel songs is what we need to
I'm
live.
going to tell you, God opened another thought and an idea in my mind. And I was in the studio just doing scratch vocals for this track to Through It All. And it's like I'm thinking, oh my, what Andre Crouch went through to write that song. And on the way home, I was thinking of the songs that we were going to put on that video. Jesus, hold my hand. And you remember the song, Precious Lord, Take My Hand? Thomas Dorsey sitting on his steps, and he lost his wife and his baby. And I know he must have been thinking, I can't make it anymore. Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, help me stand. All these old songs, you just listen to them. They're written out of pain and out of hard times and trials. They're good songs. Good songs.
Barbara, thank you very much for talking to us on gospel music today.
I loved it. I wish I could see it, and I'm going to look it up on the internet.
Excellent. Good idea.
And I love all of you people, and you all keep watching them. They're great. They've been talking to people all week, and they're just, we watch them. They're over here, and then we're like, they're doing it again. This is wonderful.
Well, thank you. There's more coming up on Gospel Music Today.